Hello and welcome to our scene on Marfan Syndrome, part of our playlist on the autosomal dominant disorders. In this image, we'll quickly review everything you need to know about this disease, including its pathologic cause, its clinical symptoms, as well as its feared complications. To help you remember the term Marfan, the main character in this scene is a Mars fan. You know, the quirky girl with glasses that all the boys had a huge crush on back in high school? Anyways, our space girl has taken her truck out to gaze upon her favorite planet, Mars. Let's build out the rest of this scene for you. First, notice the pickup truck that the girl is standing on. Here at Pixarize, we symbolize autosomal dominant inheritance with big, dominant automobiles like trucks and tanks, while autosomal recessive inheritance is represented by smart cars and other small vehicles. Just picture our Mars fan standing in the back of her pickup truck in order to get a better view, and you'll remember that Marfan disease is inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern. Next, take a closer look at our Mars fan. She's just turned 15, and how do we know this? Well, she's wearing a necklace that actually has the number 15 on it, as well as a frayed red quinceañera dress to celebrate her 15th birthday. I guess it is a bit windy here. See those dress fibers blowing in the night breeze? You could even say that these fibers are broken. Marfan syndrome is caused by inherited defects in fibrillin 1, which is located on chromosome 15. Fibrillin normally functions as a scaffold for elastic fibers and connective tissue, providing structural support and elasticity to blood vessels, skin, and bones. Just picture our Mars fan turning 15 with her broken dress fibers, and you'll remember that Marfan disease is caused by defects of fibrillin located on chromosome 15. This defect in fibrillin results in a constellation of clinical findings, no pun intended, one that frequently appears on exams. So what makes up this clinical picture anyways? Let's return to our Mars fan, where we've drawn the various features of the syndrome. First, notice how our Mars fan is extremely tall and thin, and how she has extremely long fingers. The skeletal findings of Marfan syndrome include classically long extremities, as well as long fingers and toes, professionally known as arachnodactyly. Less common features include chest protrusions or depressions, in turn called pectus carinatum or excavatum, scoliosis, as well as hypermobile joints. But just imagine our tall girl with her long fingers, and you'll have mastered the two most important skeletal features of Marfan syndrome. Next, pay attention to how our girl is lifting her glasses as she looks up to gaze upon Mars. This picture should help you easily remember the lens of the eye is subluxed upwards in Marfan syndrome. I think this fact is especially important to remember because one of the ways exam writers like to confuse you is by including another disease, homocystinuria, among the answer choices. Homocystinuria also presents with long and thin, or Marfanoid skeletal features, but there's a key difference here. In homocystinuria, the lens is subluxed downwards and inwards, as opposed to the upward subluxation found in Marfan syndrome. Just remember that our Mars fan has to look up in order to see Mars, and you'll nail this question when you see it. Afterwards, take a look at this tinfoil hat worn by our Mars fan. A tinfoil hat? Maybe she's afraid of electromagnetic radiation. I told you she was a bit quirky. Anyways, notice how this hat is shaped like a miter hat, with two cusps. This miter hat with two cusps should help you remember the mitral valve problems found in Marfan disease, specifically mitral valve prolapse. This is high yield, and you should be prepared to recognize the characteristic murmur of mitral valve prolapse. As a side note, this is a mid-systolic click, followed by a late systolic murmur. Lastly, shift your gaze towards this tree to the right. This curved tree should make you think of the aortic tree, and its splitting bark represents the most common cause of death in Marfan patients, aortic dissection. In addition to mitral valve prolapse, aortic dissections are a major cause of morbidity and mortality in Marfan syndrome, which is why newly diagnosed patients usually require an echocardiogram to evaluate for cardiac involvement. And that's it for Marfan syndrome. Just picture our space-loving girl with her broken dress fibers and the curved tree with its splitting bark, and you'll be ready to master any question you get on this disease. We'll see you next time.